In this video, I'm going to be showing you what you should be getting with a $5,000 per month SEO budget for your fashion brand. These are the exact strategies I use with my clients to help them scale their fashion brands. I'm Tyler Nelbach, the founder of SEO Align. I've helped dozens of fashion brands improve their organic traffic and revenue with SEO. And I've also helped several multi-million-dollar brands improve their organic revenue by over $50,000 per month. So please like this video to show me you're excited, and let's dive in. Okay, so I'm gonna break this down into three main categories, and these are really all the things that you really should have in a $5,000 per month SEO budget, especially for fashion brands. So the three main categories are gonna be the different facets of SEO. So there's gonna be traditional SEO, there's gonna be the Google shopping area, and then there's gonna be large language models. So the first one I'm gonna talk about is the traditional SEO. So this is the search results that are like this. You search yoga pants, and you scroll down, so this is actually past the shopping products, and then you have your blue links here. So this is the traditional SEO. This is something that is what has been the most common up until recently, and there's still a lot of traffic to be had in this area, especially for e-commerce and in fashion brands specifically. So this is the first area I'm going to zone in on, and the first thing I want to talk about is technical SEO. So in a $5,000 per month SEO budget, you should definitely be getting a technical SEO audit with whatever sort of action items come from that audit. So really, there should be a lot of different pieces uncovered as far as, what are the highest priority things we need to tackle? What are the lowest priority things that are going to wait a little bit? But you should have quite a few action items from a technical SEO audit. And so when that's done, usually that's going to be done using a tool like Screaming Frog, where the site is crawled. You can actually look at all of the different details with all of the pages, and you can find some of the biggest opportunities from that audit from a technical standpoint that you can really go after. So I'm not going to go too deep into that because I do have other videos about doing a technical SEO audit, but that is something that definitely should be included, and that should be done every once in a while throughout a campaign. I don't think that needs to be done every single month, but definitely there should be technical things that are monitored every month within the Search Console. But definitely make sure that you have a technical SEO audit done. And then from that audit, those opportunities are going to be prioritized. So that's a super important piece because you can miss some really big opportunities if you don't go that route. So that's a technical SEO audit. The next thing I want to talk about is keyword research. So another super important part of SEO. I'm going to scroll down to just one of these brands here. Let's just look at Evolve Fitwear here. So when I talk about keyword research in a traditional SEO sense, usually what I'm referencing is keyword research for collection pages. So what you'll notice in the search results, I'm going to come back here, is almost every single one of these results down here is some sort of category page. If you're on Shopify, it's a collection page, but it's very rare for individual product pages to rank for these types of keywords in the traditional results. And so you really want to put a big focus on your collection pages when you're talking about traditional SEO. So I'm going to hop over to this site. And really what I'm looking at as far as keyword research is we're looking at all of the collection pages that they have, and we're identifying what are the absolute best keywords that we can go after on those collection pages. You need to look at keyword difficulty, search volume, search intent, where you're currently ranked, a bunch of stuff like that to really zone in on the best keywords to go after. Then once you kind of have tackled the keywords for your existing collection pages, you can also look at what are some opportunities that we're not even going after yet, that we don't have collection pages for. So super important part. Again, I do have a specific video on keyword research, so I'm not going to go super deep into that, but that's something that's super important. You do not want that side of things missed or even just brushed over really quickly. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about with traditional SEO is collection page optimization. So looking at this page, so this one's actually a unique example, maybe not the best example to use here, but they're ranking pretty well for yoga pants. Definitely room for improvement, but it's interesting because they don't have any products. There's no products listed here, which is really interesting that they're ranking because usually Google is pretty good at identifying these types of pages. If I had to guess, probably it's a situation where they recently took their products off. I don't know why. But really what I'm looking at with optimization is obviously make sure you have your products in there. That's kind of a given. But putting that aside, we're looking at the H1 tag here. So yoga pants for women, that's a pretty solid H1 tag. You can obviously tell their target keyword is either yoga pants or women's yoga pants. Title tag, their title tag right now is best yoga pants for women. Again, pretty solid title tag. Sometimes that type of keyword can actually be understood by Google as somebody looking for kind of more of a listicle blog post. So I'd be a little bit cautious with the word best, but it seems like it's working out pretty well for them right now. And who knows, maybe even taking out best could actually help them improve because Google would see this page as more of a fit for what people are searching for. So that's just something to consider. Title tag H1, super important. The actual text content on a collection page is also really important. So I like what they did here, where they only had a little bit of text showing, and then they had the option to see more. See if I reload this here. So they have just, a short paragraph of text here, and then the option to show more. I like this because it just creates a better user experience. Most people don't want to read that content. Most people are just interested in the products, but having the text content does help with SEO. It's just a fact, it does. So having that there is helpful as long as you're not sacrificing user experience, because that's also a ranking factor. So I like what they did here. I didn't fully analyze this to see how well they're using NLP keywords, but that's something that's really important. So the next thing I want to talk about is internal linking. So this is super important because this helps pass value and authority from one page to another page. And you want to have everything as connected as you can to really just have that authority just kind of flow through the different pages. So if we look at this one, what they've done well is you can tell they have different sections here where they talk about their yoga pants, and you can see that they're internally linking to their different categories here. Really smart move here because they're also using keyword-rich anchor text, which is really important for internal linking. So I really like what they did here, where you can click on it, go to their flared yoga pants page. If I scroll down here, see if they have any text content. So they do have products on this page, which is really interesting. Let's see if they've done it here as well. So they haven't really on this page. So there's definitely room for improvement when it comes to internal linking on this site, because they definitely could be internally linking to a different collection page that has patterned flared pants and bell bottoms. So definitely room for improvement here, because they could really just have this all tied together and connected. And it's a really sweet system because authority passes through all of the pages. And I actually recently posted a video of just internal linking alone, how much of a difference it can make for your brand. It actually helped a brand, they improved their revenue by over 67,000 just by optimizing their internal linking. So it's super, super powerful. Definitely don't miss that part. And then really the last step I want to talk about is digital PR and link building. So with traditional SEO, authority is super important. And the way you do that is by getting featured in other relevant and big name publications. So just getting featured by big publications, doing some digital PR, doing some outreach to get featured in just big name publications builds a lot of trust with Google. So that's a super important step. Try to get featured, try to get linked to from really big name publications. And then also try to get backlinks to these individual collection pages. That's also super important. Because if you can drive backlinks directly to these pages, those pages are going to see a big boost in the search results from getting those links. It's a lot harder to get natural backlinks to these collection pages. And so what you can do is find websites that are actually good websites, bringing in traffic with keywords that are related to the fashion industry, and reach out to them, try to do a guest post on their site, and then link back to your collection page. That's one of the best ways to get links to these collection pages. But you really should be doing a mix of digital PR to get those big name publication links, and then also driving links to these collection pages as well. Okay, so the next section I want to talk about is Google Shopping. So if you have a $5,000 per month SEO budget, you definitely should be optimized for Google Shopping. And this is a really important area that people are starting to use more and more to do their shopping. And so you want to make sure your products are showing up here. So the first thing I want to talk about within this Google Shopping is the Merchant Center. So you have to have the Merchant Center set up. You have to have your product feed going into the Merchant Center in order to be able to show up here. So the first thing you definitely should have done is a Merchant Center audit. There's a lot of different pieces you have to have set up in place. If you're using Shopify with standard feeds, a lot of this comes in place already, but there's a lot of things that can go wrong when the feed comes over to the Google Merchant Center. So making sure you have a Merchant Center audit done, make sure you find any opportunities there, anything holding you back, that you need to address in order to show up here. That's a super important step. So that's something that definitely should be done. The next thing I want to talk about is keyword research for Google Shopping. So this is going to be a little bit different than collection pages with the traditional SEO. And the reason for that is when people are in this Google Shopping area, they're usually searching for something a little bit more specific. They might start with a more broad search like yoga pants. But what this is designed to do is Google Shopping is designed to really give you specific results. And that's why you see they have different categories here for flared pants, bell bottoms, different types of yoga pants that they're trying to give you options. But then if you look on the left side, if I get my head out of the way here, on the left side, you have all these different filters, and they want you to use those because you're going to have the best chance of getting what you're looking for if you use this. So you might be looking for flare, and then you might be looking for high rise. And so what this does is this modifies your search. So now you see high rise flare yoga pants. And now they're going to show more specific results based on that search. And that's where it's really important to be optimized for these more specific keywords, because people are now have this filtered and they know a lot better what exactly they're looking for. And so with that, if somebody lands on your page, they're going to convert at a much higher rate because it's very, very specific. They're looking for high-rise flare yoga pants. If you have that and they like your yoga pants, they're probably going to buy your yoga pants. So doing this keyword research, knowing what people are searching, knowing what you actually carry, and really identifying those types of keywords is a super important piece to make sure that you're showing up in this Google Shopping area with your products. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is product optimization. So if you come over to a specific product here, I'm just on Nordstrom Rack, we'll visit the site. You want to make sure that you're using very, very specific keywords here. So you can see they have perform high waist flare leggings. Really good title because they're very specific about what these leggings are. They don't just have them named leggings. And that's why they're showing up here, because they're very specific with their product title. Also with your product description and details, make sure you're really specific there too. Like they have high-waisted leggings cut from stretchy moisture wicking performance. They're trying to be very, very specific about what the product is, and that helps Google understand the product. And that's what's going to help you show up in the Google Shopping area when you're very, very specific with your products. So that's a super important piece that I wanted to touch on, just because you can really miss out on a lot by not describing your products well enough. You want to get as absolutely specific as you possibly can so that Google understands your product well. So when people are doing a very specific search in Google Shopping, your product will show up. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is making sure that your structured data is set up well. So if you're using Shopify, this is usually done pretty well right out of the gate. You want to make sure you have your reviews in there. You want to make sure you have your product details in the structured data, just making sure that's all in place and set up correctly. There's a lot of really easy tests you can do, rich snippet tests that Google has to make sure your structured data is set up correctly. So you just want to make sure that's set up in place, because if you don't have that set up, you're going to be missing out on a lot of opportunities. You might not even show up in Google Shopping. And if you do, your results aren't going to look as good as some of the others that are next to it. So make sure you have your structured data in place, because that's super important for Google Shopping. Okay, so the last section I want to talk about is large language models. So you want to make sure that you're showing up for these types of searches where people are looking for the best types of yoga pant brands. And you want to be able to make sure that you're showing up here. So with a $5,000 per month SEO budget, you definitely should be starting to optimize for these large language models. So some of the things that are really important with large language models are making sure that you have a lot of brand mentions from really good websites. So it's a little bit less important to have actual links, but super important to have brand mentions. So that's one thing, making sure you're mentioned, making sure you're talked about, making sure you're talked about in forums like Reddit. That's another super important piece. So you can actually contribute to those forums as your brand and just kind of be answering questions and talking about your brand a little bit without being overly pitchy with it. That works really well. Another piece that you should be doing is you should be making sure you're getting on the Listicles. So when other websites are writing blogs about the best yoga pants brands, you should be making sure that you're showing up there. And so you can do guest posts on other websites. You can even create your own listicle where you could have a blog post on your own site talking about the best yoga pants brands. Make sure you have your brand number one and then the other ones after that. So this is a super important piece. There's a lot of stuff you can do to show up right now in large language models. And it's going to keep changing as time passes, as the models improve, as more people are using them. But with a $5,000 per month SEO budget, you definitely should be starting to optimize for these large language models, because there's a lot of opportunity here. There's a lot of traffic to be had, and there's only going to be more opportunities as more time passes and more people start to use these. So I hope this video gave you a good understanding of what a $5,000 per month SEO budget should look like. These are the exact strategies I've used to help my clients improve their organic revenue by over $50,000 per month. I also wanted to let you know that I put together a free fashion SEO checklist to help you rank for your most important keywords. I'll leave a link right down here in the description where you can grab that checklist for free. And if you'd rather have me help you instead, just head over to SEOalign.com to schedule a call to see if we'd be a good fit to work together. And if you got value out of this, please like this video and subscribe for more fashion SEO videos just like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.